Well, last night in that Twitter space, Elon Musk said that Americans should have more children. And wow, the internet kind of went wild on this. Liberal internet kind of had a problem with this. Now, listen to Elon Musk talking about having children and engaging the audience with how many children do you have? How many do you have? Yeah, you should go out there and have children. Listen.
I think like something that is really important is like you just literally have to have kids, or there's no next generation. Alex, do you have kids?
Yes, I do. I'm not as prolific as you, but I wish I was. They're the best thing in my life. I have 4.
Okay, great. And Andrew?
I do have a few. I won't let you down, Elon. I'm coming to take over your title. I'm coming to take over. I'm doing my best. You know, I got to use my good looks for something.
Well, I think we ought to encourage people to have kids.
And this is the bottom line argument. This is what is so important. We just talked about how the globalists are ultimately selfish and only care about their own power.
Most of the globalists don't have children. And
of course, because they're selfish.
So goes on to say that, the earth can handle way more people. This whole argument that Al Gore makes that, we're overpopulated and all of this, Bill Gates, overpopulation, all of these things. No, the earth can handle tens of billions of more people on this planet. And that we have a massive problem right now and that we should have more children. So Clay Thompson tweeted this, pushing a message to have children and families. Watch the legacy media spin this one. Oh, and they did. Because the U.S. has a population problem right now. And, the Biden administration has an open border policy. The great replacement of Americans is happening right before our eyes. The mainstream media, though, is also pushing this narrative that it's good to be childless. Here's the Associated Press. Gen Z millennials are speaking out on the reluctance to become parents. And you can dive deeply into all of their reasons why they just don't want to become parents. They think that, we want to be better. We want to be better stewards of the earth. In fact, highlighted in this Associated Press piece is other women interviewed also cited climate change as one of the reasons why they don't want to have children. Climate change, along with overwhelming student debt coupled with inflation, as reasons they'll never be parents. Some younger men, too, are opting out, and more are seeking vasectomies. Imagine young men getting vasectomies. Interesting to watch how some countries are addressing their declining birth rate and some countries do not. CNN suggesting that Americans should adopt a new word for childlessness. It's called R-productive, A-R-E, like we are productive. Instead of we're childless, no, we're just productive. We are productive. So that's the phrase that CNN is pushing, this catchy phrase comes from the very same person, by the way, that coined the term sober curious. Like, I'm just sober curious. I'm not actually sober. I'm just sober curious. So are productive. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Sober curious? Like, is that I'm drunk or I'm not drunk? I'm curious. Like, I don't right. know what that is bizarre.
It gets you off the hook. Like, oh, if you have drinks here, it's like you're kind of toying with the idea of it, as the CNN headline places it here. Why I'm hoping motherhood spectrum will be the new sober curious. Oh, yeah. The motherhood spectrum. The R productive. The reason why is, according to CNN, the reason why many women cite for not wanting kids are, rapidly spiraling climate problems. Where are they living that the climate is causing them to not want to have babies? What are they? Where? I don't know anyone.
Maybe.
I don't even know. I don't know. I mean, Antarctica.
It's too cold to get naked. I don't know.
I don't. You think you'd be if you were in Antarctica, you'd probably be cozying up with one of your workmates down there. There's only 100 of you, and you meet the love of your life, and then we met in Antarctica. That's where we had babies. To me, that seems like a perfect place for it. It's crazy. So climate is causing all of this. It doesn't make any sense to me. And Gen Z and millennials say they are not choosing to have kids, and they just don't want to, quote, according to this Pew Research survey. I wonder where they're getting this, though. The idea, though, that this is selfish came up during that Twitter space, and Austin Bobbin says, not having children isn't selfish. It's reasonable pragmatism. Babies are for wealthy and poor. $200,000 is the average cost of raising one child to 18 years old in the United States. 18 years old. $200,000 is the average cost. Okay. So, yeah, there's definitely an economic piece to this, a massive economic piece to this. And here's an idea. How about instead of sending $200 billion off to Ukraine or other places or a $1 trillion a year war budget, what if we use that to reinvest in families in the United States? Giving incentives for mortgages and things like that, being able to offset that. If you have children, if you have a family, here are these additional incentives for you to be getting a mortgage and a homeowner. In fact, they do that in Russia.
Yeah, because if you think about it, that means having one kid, and with the debt clock, you're $400,000 in debt.
Right. Yeah, let's go to the debt clock. Yeah, here's the U.S. national debt clock right now. Yeah, $33 trillion. So, yeah, because we're spending so much money on war and sending it around the world. What if we reinvested in the United States? Imagine that, if we reinvested in the United States. Well, TikTok is bad. We know that. We already know how it's pushing content that is harming children, pushing Malthusian trans agenda. Well, now reports are that TikTok's algorithm is actively pushing content that is anti-family, no children, talking you out of having children. There's a new trend that's being promoted in their algorithm, promoted by TikTok. It's called Dinks. Have you guys heard of Dinks?
Nope.
No, I have not
yet.
Dual income, no kids. Dual income, no kids. Now, these have been trending over the past couple of weeks. This is the new trend. So if you're a dink, you're a dual income, no kids, you're creating videos like this and you're sharing like all of the amazing things that you get to do in your life and your day with having no children. You soulless, like you're promoting the idea of this, by the way. Okay, so here's dink number one. Take a look at dink number one.
We're dinks. We go to Trader Joe's and workout classes on the weekends.
We're dinks. We get into snobby hobbies like skiing and golfing.
We're dinks. We can go to Florida on a whim.
We're dinks. We're already planning our European vacation next year.
Dinks. We get a full 8 hours of sleep and sometimes more.
We're dinks. We get desserts and appetizers at restaurants.
We're dinks. We can play with other kids and give them back.
We're dinks. We still do it 3 times a week.
We're dinks. We spend our discretionary income on $8 lattes.
We're dinks. We max out our 401ks, Roth IRAs, and HSAs.
We're dinks. We don't use our kids or dog as an excuse to leave a party. We just leave.
Dinks. Dinks that max out their 401k.
That's just, I just hear the people from Spaceballs, the ding dink.
Ding,
like
ding,
just
ding,
like
ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's what we called our kids. Like, you know, when after they watched Spaceballs, like, and they would walk around the house getting ready for bed. Like, come on, ding, dinks, let's get in bed. You know, they're children. That's what they are. Also, the idea of maxing out your 401k. What a government laughable disaster the 401k plan is. By the way, that speaks to their level of financial education. By the way, you're maxing out a 401k plan. Where the government makes money and you don't know all the fees. So they're laughing behind your back because all the fees that they're charging you don't even know about. Anyway, so yeah, this term dink has been around for a long time. This is a new term, but it's actively being promoted here. Here's another group of dinks that loves to spend their quality time going to Costco.
Why is nobody talking about being dinks? Well, I'm freshly married and I'm going to talk about it. Here's our life as dinks in our early 30s. No shocker here, folks. Today we went to Costco. We don't have kids to feed, but we got lots of money to spend on goodies. Brian always checks out while I get a box, and then I sit here and look cute. Here's the haul, and our total was $252. The register game at Costco never gets old. You cannot tell me that grocery shopping and a fresh slice of Costco pizza isn't a good date night. I mean, you can tell me that, but I don't believe it. Obviously, we had car cookies for dessert, and yeah, I will probably just make this a series now, so follow along for more dink content.
Follow along for more dink content. So they're having such a romantic, fun night at Costco that they're filming the entire sequence for people on the internet. By the way, like, okay, it's a very intimate experience. They're filming the whole thing. Here's dink number 3. Here's another group of dinks who actively get 8 hours of sleep and have a great life.
We're dinks. We go on 10 vacations a year.
We're dinks. We spend our disposable income on fun stuff, like boats.
We're dinks. We spend 4 hours a day on our favorite hobbies.
We're dinks. We get 8 hours of sleep at night.
We're dinks. Sometimes we buy plane tickets for the same weekend.
We're dinks. We We never have to pay for a babysitter.
We're dinks. Our house is almost always clean.
We're dinks. We have the most spoiled dogs in the world.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Can't afford a windsock, though, all that extra money.
Yeah. We have boats. We have a clean house, but we don't know how to film videos. We don't know how to deal with a windsock. Yeah. I think it's a fascinating trend. I think it's really interesting. And I think these individuals are going to find out come a few years from now, like what life really has to offer when you're.
I mean, really, what you're really promoting is the economy and how bad it is that like it used to be where you could survive on one income and still have that kind of lifestyle, even with kids or whatever, and have extra money and all that. But now you have to have a dual income family in order to even survive in America. And if you have a kid, they're just proving you can't survive because everything's so expensive that you have to, like, it's that 3-job thing we talked about earlier with Bush. Like, you cannot afford, and I think it's more that it's an affording thing, not like a life, like, hey, this is a perfect lifestyle, we don't have kids. No, it's like some people are forced into that because they can't afford it.
That's at the heart of it. That's at the heart of it.
Yeah.
The financial piece of this is at the heart of all of this. And I think, and they're, that's why you're seeing the liberal media like normalizing this. Like, it's okay. It's totally fine to not have children. Don't even think about having children. It's totally fine. You can't afford it anyway. Just live the life that you want right now. Don't have children. Don't even plan to have children. And you can't afford it. It's $200,000. How are you going to be able to put these kids through any kind, pay for diapers, pay for food? You barely can pay your own rent right now. And that's the state of the Biden economy right now in the United States with inflation. I saw an interesting video a few weeks ago where a young girl was sitting on, she was in her probably mid-20s, maybe mid to late 20s. And I think it went viral where she's sitting at a lake house, small lake house. I don't know where she was, like Pennsylvania or something. And it was a small, like, little lake house with her, and it's her parents' house. And she's sitting on the backyard, on the back swing, looking out at this like pond lake. And she said, I grew up and my parents were able to buy this house on a teacher's salary. They both were teachers. And we had a great childhood, and they were able to afford this house in this neighborhood. And we were always able to go out to the movies and, had a meal out, every so often, and had a great childhood. Now me and my husband could never afford to live in the same exact house that I'm sitting in now, where my parents live. Dual income, we could never afford to buy this same house today in 2023. That's the state of inflation. That's the state of the economy right now.
They'd be like walking like, hey, we're dinks, and we're one accidental pregnancy away from absolutely nothing.
Right. Total bankruptcy. Dink, 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 dink. But I think it's interesting, Elon Musk talking about everyone should have, I love his statistics, right? 2.1 babies. Because that's what it's really going to take in the United States for us to stop this birth gap. Or the Biden administration's idea, I guess, is just completely open up the southern border and just let everyone in, so then it completely changes the population of the United States anyway. So you guys don't need to have babies. Don't even worry about it. Who cares? The Biden administration has just opened up the floodgates and allow as many people into the United States as possible. Thank you so much for watching this segment here at Redacted. We are live every day at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, trying to share the stories that the mainstream media will not cover. You should also come over and join our community of Redacted Rebels over at redacted.inc. That's our private locals community where we can share exclusive content that we simply cannot share here on YouTube. Come over and join the rebellion together right now by going to redacted.inc. We'll see you next time.